Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Jordan here. So today I want to continue working on my medieval area because I feel like I haven't worked on it for like a week or so, and it looks so cool, and I think it just needs a little bit of attention. It's looking lonely over here. Specifically, all of the Lion Knights that I acquired from the BAM station, they need a home. They don't really look good there, do they? So I actually took this castle, I spun it 90 degrees, and I put it back in that corner. I know it looked pretty cool at an angle, but this platform that I have the castle on just isn't big enough to have it at an angle because then it hangs off this edge and the back edge. So it has to be square. So I can have it square that way, or I can have it square the other way. When I had it square the other way, this ramp right here, it lined up with this ramp that I built specifically for that reason. But now I'm thinking maybe if I just turn it that way, it'll be better because I have way more space over here. When I had it spun the other way, I had like a bunch of studs over there and some studs over here, and it's like, if I put it in the corner, well then guess what? I've got a lot more studs and I can fit a better scene out front of the castle. I know it's pretty close to the wizard's tower, but it is what it is. I want to build some more cool stuff. Specifically here today, I want to build a wall. Yeah, a Lego wall, because I feel like these soldiers right here, they need like a guarded area in front of the king's castle. So I'm going to build some sort of cool wall that like encloses this whole area. Since I think that might be pretty cool. Now I might have to move this ramp like back. Might have to move it back like 6 or 8 studs or something. Just so it's like more centered wherever the entrance to this walled area might be, because I think there's going to be an entrance on this side and an entrance on this side, but it wouldn't really make sense to have an entrance way over there right up against the castle. So it was 42 studs, so this is 42 studs right here, and then it was 44 studs. So I just, like that square there represents that area. That's a pretty big area. Like that is pretty big. It's a lot of studs to work with there. So my plan is to build this wall as one large unit. And I'm actually going to use those hinge bricks so that I can actually put different angles on the wall. So I'm thinking there's going to be a long section that's going to meet up with the castle. And then there's a section that's 16 studs at a slight angle. Then another straight section, and that's where the front gate will go. And then to the right of the front gate will be another section that's 16 studs long. And then another long section, which will of course go up to the other end of the castle. And in the center of that wall, well actually it's off center when I'm filming this, but I eventually make it center, is going to be another gate. I have those black gates. I don't know where I got them from, but they're like almost like haunted house gates. I know they're not really like castle-like, but I think they're the best part option that I have. It would be neat if I was able to build the gates that could actually be raised and lowered, but I think in order to do that, you actually need a lot of sort of bulk above the door, just to have that sort of mechanism that actually does open and close the gate. Also, I don't know if I want to build these walls that tall because they're exterior castle walls. So that's why I decided to go with the black ones there. And I could use wooden too, but I sort of like the look of these gates. I think they're pretty cool. So then what I decided to do is just put some arches over top of those because the arches just match up with them perfectly. And then I just build up the walls around those arches using dark and light gray. And what I'm making sure to do is wherever there's dark gray, just to make sure it's connected, and same with the light gray. So it's not like I'm randomly going to put some dark gray where it's all light gray. So I'm just making sure that the stonework actually makes sense. The reason I decided to use both light and dark gray is just because I think it looks better with the two colors, and also if I stick with one color, then I'm going to run out of those pieces and I'll be stuck with no light gray or no dark gray. But I think I was actually able to construct a pretty cool wall quite quickly just because I've been sort of thinking about this project for quite some time. So yeah, I got to move the ramp, I got to add some color, add some interior builds and connect the wall, and then add all the tile work and start to spruce this area up with some more color because it's looking rather light gray, dark grayish. I'm doing this at night. Like our kids are already asleep, and I decided to start building this just because I was like, you know what? I want to build some Lego. I don't want to work on this medieval area. Mrs. Bricksie and I are going to Disneyland right away, so I'm trying to get ahead for that, but it would seem that I just don't have it in me to get ahead far enough in advance so that I can have videos launch every day that I'm away. For some reason, not for some reason, but just I'm just running out of gas lately, everybody. I'm running out of gas. I can't get ahead like I used to. Like I used to go like camping for a few days or go on a trip to Disney World for a week or whatever it may be, and I would have like 7 videos ready to go for when and now I'm going to Disneyland for 4 days and I'm struggling to get ahead for 4 days. Like it's nothing. Old Bricksie would hammer that off no problem. But now it's like after the kids go to sleep and like after like the day is over and I'm done working for the day, I'm like so exhausted I don't have it in me to film another video like at night. Whereas I used to just be like, yeah, no problem. I'll just work until 1 in the morning. But now I'm just like, I can't even do that anymore. I don't know. I think it's the kids. I blame the kids because I never had to be well, prior to having kids, I never had to be a parent. But now when I'm not working, I'm being a parent. So it's like there's not really any downtime. So I think that's what it is. Also, I like get up way earlier now because the kids are up, so I can't stay up as late anymore because I'm just like so gassed by the end of the day. Whereas I used to be like a night owl. I'd stay up to like 2, 3 in the morning, no problem. And then I'd be up at 9 the next day and I'd resume. But now I can't get away with doing that. So I think that's what it is for sure. But either way, having fun with Lego in the Lego room. So that's good. Just wanted to give you a little life update there. Going to Disneyland. How exciting is that? I'm fired up. So I'm pretty lucky, everybody, because look who's joining us. Mrs. Bricksie in her Ravenclaw Udi. Like I mentioned, we're doing this at night. So we are going to create the trail, and she's actually going to be in charge of that. I'm laying the tile that's going to go underneath the wall there, and then she's building the trail using all sorts of sort of brownish plate, nougat, dark tan, brown, dark brown, tan, etc. She's doing a great job of just like evenly spacing it and making it look pretty awesome. And what I'm doing is actually building a armory. It's like, okay, it's going to build some sort of little shack here. There's not a whole lot of room because I want to put some training areas for the soldiers as well. But I think we need an armory, and that's just where they're going to store the helmets, the shields, and just all the weapons. It just makes sense. So I'm actually building it using masonry bricks, light gray, dark gray, and tiled off the bottom of it as well. And then I'm adding a brown arch, and it's going to have an angled roof. And Jose's going through all the miscellaneous pieces there so that we can actually have enough pieces to connect that trail from gate to gate and also to the drawbridge as well. Sorry that the table's sort of shaking around there. It's just both of us are sort of going back and forth like crazy trying to get this built. So it's still looking pretty gray, so I think it's time to add some green as well. We're going to add some green just outside of the castle walls, and I'm still working on that armory while Mrs. Bricksie is taking care of that. But I'm almost done because I'm actually constructing the roof right now, which once again is an angled pitched roof. And that's actually going to sit right in the corner there, right by the castle. Once that's created, it's time to create a little archery range. That's where the soldiers can practice their archery and also tack down the armory. And then there's also going to be a little sparring area. So we're putting some green down, putting down some brown as well, just because that's going to be where the soldiers are walking. Now, there's not a whole lot of texture here. It's mostly all studs right now. I plan to change that. But I don't know if I'm going to get around to it today just because texturing it is sort of like finalizing the build, and I don't know if it's going to be finalized yet. But there are some tweaks that we want to make to the area as well, such as the soldiers. We definitely need to add the soldiers. They're going to add some life and some color to this. So we're actually going to put them in a forward march toward the front gate of the castle, and then we're going to make some changes to the castle walls as well. Right now it's just topped with like studs, so we're actually going to use some cones that I found on the pad wall and put those cones all over the top of the wall. I think that just makes sense. It gives it a nice texture and adds something different to the top of the wall. But I had to make some modifications just because the green studs were actually colliding with the wall, so I had to pop some of those out and change them up with some tiles just so that thing sort of sits in the track that we built for it. And the next thing we're going to do is add some exterior details to the castle wall, and that is some flags and also some shields as well. And of course there is a bunch more stuff that I want to do to this build, but man, it is definitely looking a lot better. So first off, here's the little armory that I built. It's got some weapons on the back wall there, some podiums for a couple helmets, and then 2 shields mounted to the wall as well. So it's got masonry bricks on the side, of course, and then the angled roof. Did that with some of the hinge elements, and then it slants in 1 plate increments going down. And then I put some jumpers on the roof so I can get those boards at interesting angles. Maybe I could use some more color on the top there, like some dark brown boards. And I just used some of those modified 1x4s. And it just sort of tacks down in place there. Now, there is no texture in here, and I want to texture this whole area with slopes and leaves and more trees and maybe like little benches or other little mini builds. But then I did put this little sparring area over here. Once again, I think once I texture around there, I think it'll look pretty cool and add a little bit more life to it. Same with just outside the castle, but this whole castle needs to be upgraded still. And then I want to build just like some tie-off posts for a horse right there. I don't really need a horse stables because there's a horse stable right here just outside the castle walls. But yeah, we've got the shields on either side of the gate there. Added the flags, the cones on top of the wall. I could prop a couple snot bricks in here and have some vegetation climbing up the side of the wall. So I'll probably do that. That would be a very easy modification to make. But I need to decide what type of vegetation is going to go on these little green spots on either side. I don't want to put big tall trees, but I definitely need to do something there. We've got the king leading the army out the gate, where we got the matching shields on this side and the flag above as well. And then the troops are all following. This guy's feeding his horse back there, feeding him an apple. I did move this as well. So I moved it all over. I rebuilt the rock work around it. And then I moved the trail, like I reconfigured this so the trail actually lines up with that now. I still need to add more texture to that, just some tiles and everything. Probably just use the same sort of trail mix on the ramp there as well. And yeah, I just need to build some towers too. I wasn't sure if the tower is going to go outside here or if they're going to go inside. There's not a whole lot of room inside, so I don't know where the guard towers will go or if they even need to be there, to be honest, because it might start to look a little bit too busy. So I'm sort of leaning away from that right now, but for sure I need to put a mini build there, and then I need to texture the grounds all in the interior, and I still need to texture this whole area. In fact, I have a plan to try and build a bunch more of these. I think I have the parts to do it, and to just sort of cover this whole area with saplings. And I think that's going to help break up the green color. I know they're topped in green, but it's going to add that reddish brown too. And then I can go through and add all sorts of different vegetation to this area as well. Just waiting to do that like when I'm like done, because if I go and change any of this now, well, guess what? You got to remove all that stuff, so it takes forever. So like if I were to like texture back here and then be like, oh no, I want to elevate it, well, then it's just a bunch of wasted work. So I always leave the texturing and everything for last. But yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to build this pretty cool wall that goes around the king's castle. Looking pretty sweet. We got our army. Yeah, bam, hooking it up. I think that's the perfect amount of soldiers. They're just sort of making their way out of the castle there and going to meet up with, the Black Vulcan Knights. So I'm not going to have an actual battle happening here because it's pretty gruesome, but you can tell that something is brewing here. It would be pretty cool to actually like change it. You know, like you could have, 1 week or 1 month it's like this, and then a month later maybe the battle is actually happening. The wizard is running. He's like, oh no, yeah, he's running away, or he's going to give a message to somebody or something. Yeah. So still lots of work that has to happen here, but I was glad that I was able to get that done tonight. I think it's looking pretty sweet. I feel like for a night build, we accomplished a lot. Thank goodness Mrs. Bricksie helped me out, because I think that looks fantastic and it's off to a great start. And I can't wait to finish this model in general, but I'm having a lot of fun just building the medieval area and sort of taking my time with it, slowly but surely improving everything. And there's still a lot of work to do as discussed, but it's coming along great. Everybody, thank you so much for coming on by. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff. And have yourselves a fantastic day. Farewell.